Good day everyone, so I am Janen Tanudtanud, and for today I will going to tackle about the world religious belief and practices of the Buddhism. So there are different religions with different beliefs and practices. And some of these major world religions are Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, Islam, and Buddhism. And for now, let's focus on the beliefs and practices of the Buddhism. So, Buddhism, it is like the most of the great religions of the world, and it is divided into a number of different traditions. However, most traditions share a common set of fundamental beliefs, and one of the main beliefs of Buddhism is the Four Noble Truths. And these are the truth of suffering, truth of the cause of suffering, truth of the end of suffering, and the last is the truth of the path that leads to suffering. So first, let's talk about the truth of suffering. So it identifies the presence of suffering, and so suffering is real and it is almost universal. And we all know that suffering has many causes. Just like when you are losing something or when you are losing someone you love. Sickness, pain, failure, and the impermanence of pleasure. Now let's move on to the truth of cause of suffering. So it seeks to determine the cause of suffering. So if there is suffering, there is also a cause of suffering. And suffering is due to attachment, and it is a desire to have and control things. It can also take many forms, just like, for example, craving of sensual pleasures, the desire for fame, and a desire to avoid unpleasant sensations like fears, anger, or jealousy. Next is the truth of the end of suffering. So at this stage, attachment can be overcome. So suffering ceases with the final liberation of nirvana. And at this point, your mind will experience complete freedom, liberation, and it let go of any desire, craving. Then the last one is the truth of the path that leads to end of suffering. So follow the Eightfold Path. So in order to end suffering, you must follow the Eightfold Path. And now let's move on to the Eightfold Path. So first, it is right understanding. So it is an understanding that the four truths are noble and true. Then next is the right thinking. So it is by following the right path in life. It is the true desire to free oneself from attachment, ignorance, and hatefulness. Next is the right speech. It is no telling one person what another says about him to cause discord or harm their relationship. So, right speech, it is avoiding slander. You will also avoid lying and all forms of untrue and abusive speech. Then next is the right conduct. It is adhering to the idea of non-violence. So it is refreshing from physical misdeeds like killing, stealing, and sexual conduct. Next is the right livelihood. So supporting yourself without harming others. So right livelihoods, it means making your living in such a way as to avoid dishonesty and hurting others, including the animals. Next is right effort. It promotes good thoughts and conquer evil thoughts. So good qualities should be abandoned and nurtured. Next is the right mindfulness. It is having a clear sense of one's mental state and bodily health and feelings. So it is an awareness of our body, feelings, thought, and consciousness in such a way as to overcome craving, hatred, and ignorance. Then the last one is the right concentration. So using meditation to reach highest level of enlightenment. So through meditation, you can reach the enlightenment. And now let's move on to the customs and practices of Buddhism. So one of the practices of Buddhism is through meditation, and there are two types of meditation, and these are the samatha and the vipassana. So samatha, it is a practice as mindfulness of breathing and development of loving or kindness, or the metta bhavana. So in other words, it is the tranquility of the mind, or it is the mind calmness, and it is a kind of meditation that focuses on calming the mind. Well, the vipassana, these practices aim at developing insight into reality. So vipassana, it is kind of meditation that focused on insight or clearing the mind. Then also in vipassana, it involves observing your thoughts and emotions without judging. The next is acquiring wisdom. It is by studying Buddha's teaching, which is the Dharma. So through the reflection of Dharma, Buddhists can achieve a deeper understanding of life. And now let's talk about the Buddhist celebration. So there are some major Buddhist celebration, and one of these are the Parinirvana Day, and it is celebrated in the month of February. The next is the Buddha Day or Vesak. It is also celebrated in the month of May. Next is Dharma Day. It is celebrated in the month of July. The next is the Padmasambhava Day on October, and the last is the Sangha Day on November. So that would be all. I hope you learned something about my topic, and again, I am Janen Tanudtanud, and thank you for watching.